I would say mostly Amethyst and Azrael.
Yep, and now we have both our players starting here. Wow, it's burning today. It's been pretty hot. It's been pretty hot in Quebec City. I guess it's hot in wherever Matrick and Emimi are from as well. I think Matrick is American. I believe Emimi is Belgian.
Yeah, I think so too. It's kind of interesting. Emimi has the fire wings, but Matt has the fire flaming head, so...
And Matt also sporting the jetpack, which is one of the add-ons that I've never been able to play with, because the little explosion every time you jump completely messes me up. But he still manages to beat Ruby with.
So both our players are off. It's nothing special really. We mostly just talk about outfits right now, because there's not a lot going on, but...
Yeah, it's good. It's good old keep. Not much going on except that if you take a death in one of the beginning areas, it's a long way back because the saves are very far apart. But I'd be very surprised if I saw any of our players here died today.
The one thing that might catch players and make them fall to their death is actually these fire guys, because if you don't kill them, there's a chance they'll spawn on top of you and steal your jump, kind of. Usually it doesn't happen, but it can.
Yeah, it almost happened there to Matrick. That was very close. Emimi here on the first damage boost gets it clean, then to be making his way to the first portal. Portal is not very complicated. Enemies come out of it, you kill the enemies that damages the portal. When it's dead, well, you get a feather, or something explodes somewhere. In that case, it's going to be the feather that gives you access to the skill of fluttering. I don't know if you want to talk a bit about fluttering?
Fluttering is kind of like a jump, but instead of giving a lot of vertical height, it more like keeps your height and then it makes you go forward a bit. So this actually makes the jumping a bit more interesting, because now you're not just going above and below things, you're actually going in between things as well. So this is where it starts getting more interesting. It's going to be layered on top, more and more mechanics later on.
Your Matrick letting the fire guy live. Oh, sadly he fell into one of the ether spikes.
Yeah, they just one-shot killed, so you really want to avoid them. Actually, they used a pretty interesting weapon here, and it's a Sloth. It has a really long wind-up time, and a decent cooldown as well, but it has the highest burst of damage in the game. And you can use it in some places to get, like there for example, he killed 2 enemies in one swing, or you can do it
an attempt at JD skip here. Is he going to try again? No, he's using the regular right now. Yeah, that's one of the things that, like, since we started this tournament, this game has had more activity than it ever had. And one of the strats that we saw appear was more strats using slots to save time.
Oh yeah.
I think more can appear. I mean, we've seen Kale do the climb with slots, but that was pretty hype.
Nice. The thing about sloth strats is that they are usually the fastest way to do something, but they're also hard, since you need to learn timings for not only the enemies and how to manipulate them, but also the timing for Sloth and his cooldown.
That's true, but here's a point where Sloth is very easy to use, and that's Miyugi-1. Basically, she uses an attack, her shield goes down, and then you just charge a big 8 damage attack on her. You do it 3 times and she dies. It's kind of the tutorial boss here.
Yeah, unfortunately she has just enough HP to take 3 swings, so you basically cut the fight in half instead of using the normal weapon.
But yeah, another thing with Sloth is if you miss your attack, you don't get a second chance until, yeah, pretty much like 3 seconds later. Like we just saw with Matrick trying to kill the convings with Sloth against Yugi.
Now the slide. So this is usually where the run becomes a run, because we say that the first boss is more of a tutorial boss. It's very easy compared to everything else in the game. And then you can start going really fast by sliding. Oh, is it even gonna do it? I wanna see this.
He's trying to hit a pixel. Is he? No.
Oh, didn't get it.
I think he had the pixel, but sadly he didn't get the jump length here. And these little mistakes made it so that Matrick just passed him.
Yep.
Matrick is now ahead. That was a little bit of an attempt at swag. That pixel jump is ridiculously precise because not only must you stand on the perfect pixel, but you also... Oh, little faceplant here on the pillar. And he's gonna have to start again. And Emimi is now ahead. When I'm talking about this game can swing quickly, that's what I mean.
Especially in the early stages, not for its difficulty, but just because the saves are really long.
Very few deaths that cost just like a second.
Up. Okay, they are
Perfect
perfectly synced.
Wow.
Oh, this is great.
Emimi here a little bit quicker in handling the turret, kills the sink. What a shame. And both our players are going to be making their way to Pergora, the first boss. Strategy on this boss, pretty simple. Basically attack and spam. You have enough health to survive all of his attacks. And just keep damaging him forever. As long as your damage is optimal, using the correct weapon for the different attacks. Here, both got the same RNG, it's wind. And,
actually, Emimi had high swoop first, so
oh,
Matrick
really?
had the better RNG in the end. Because
and the kill is still synced.
Oh
anyway.
my god.
I think we're in for a good race.
Dude, this is so close.
So Ruby fell, but she's alright, although now she's a backpack. And we'll see if our player can keep Ruby as a backpack. Yes, Matrick nails it. So, basically, this game is a little bit jank, but if you load a save that has 2 jumps, and you go back into your original save, and you jump on the first frame when you come back, well, you've got a couple frames. You will have 2 jumps to use immediately. This is the one place where it's actually useful, because our player will be getting the double jump feather immediately. But it's pretty useful because the falling is an area that takes about 35 seconds to do and is very RNG and not very fun.
So, yeah, thanks to me,
go ahead. Yes.
Our job is easier because now we get to showcase both the good and the bad version of the falling skip. So when you get the good one, it's what Siggy just talked about, where you have Ruby on your back and you can float around with her physics. But Emimi got the quote-unquote bad version. It still saves a lot of time, but it's not as good as the good one. So you'll just have to run on the ground and use it there.
Yep. And also, Emimi, I think it took him a couple attempts before he could get the actual skip. Because it's not exactly easy. You have to jump over a trigger. And
so
sadly, the first time he didn't. So
Matrick's
on Electrum already now.
Why did he enter with lower HP than normal?
He took 1 ball on the way, so he had 65 health because the electric balls just before the fight deal 35 damage.
And the reason for that is because you don't want to take some saves in this game because you can utilize death warping, where you either clear a boss or pick something up and then you reset to get back to the original save point, so you don't have to run all the way back. And if you take the save point before Electram, it's a lot safer, but you'll lose some time since you have to run back all the way.
I kind of missed what you were going for here. Matrick, really good fight here, add pretty good RNG on Electram, gets his feather, and this feather gives him a new attack, which is a ranged attack, the Orbs of Purity. We saw him throw 1 there. That's going to be orbs deal a lot less damage than the melee attacks, but they're safe to use because you can use them at range. Some bosses that can only be damaged by these orbs, we're going to be talking about them a little bit later. As Matrick makes his way into one of the most pivotal areas of the game, the second part of the game. We call it Veil 2, for short, basically. Don't know if you want to talk about the skip a little bit?
Yeah, it's a pretty hard part to do since you're doing a skip that approximately skips half of the entire area. But since you won't be getting any saves, you will actually have to like do the entire skip again, and it's hard because there's a lot of enemies going around and things you want to tank and avoid. Let's see. Wait, I'm getting some messages from Emimi.
Emimi had the blue screen, he tells me.
Oh.
Oh boy, I hope he can come back quickly.
Yeah, that's not very good at all. Okay, well, Matrix's gonna go for the skip here. Oh, he's doing the fast one even. No, wait. He's doing
he's using a
version.
bug here because he wants his health to be safer.
Yeah. So he just damage boosted, because when you take damage, you get knocked up a little bit, and you also get knocked back a little bit, but that's not the interesting part. Ooh, that's painful. But you get knocked up a little bit when you're standing on the ground, so then you can jump up to that platform up there, which should be inaccessible normally. See, he gets it, yep. So now he essentially skipped half the area.
Yeah, his health was really good. The problem is that he died to the only thing that one-hit KOs you in this place. This time jumps over it, gets it. His health is really good.
Yeah,
he's going to be able to...
Shouldn't have a problem. I gotta say, his setup for the skip was really clean.
Yeah, it's a good setup for the bug, actually. It's pretty fast. I'm kind of impressed.
Yeah, that was interesting. Also, this cave skip. Can you talk about this one?
Yeah, it's a little bit particular. You go in to make the rock thrower throw a rock at you. You go out so that the rock does not break because of the wall, and you go back in as it's just about to hit you. And then you use that to damage boost. It's kind of precise. I'm impressed Matrix got it on the first go, but it saves so much time that it's really worth learning it than doing the troll cave, which is called a troll cave for a reason. It's pretty difficult. Now Matrix on Amethyst. Not much to say about that boss, really. She has lots of attacks. You dodge them. For every attack, you can deal 16 damage to her. It's pretty easy to deal the 16 damage. So the only thing that's dangerous is that if you didn't take the save before, like Matrix did, you come into the fight with only 80 health. And she's been a killer this tournament. Like, a lot of players died to Amethyst, and good ones, too. Big laser here. That big laser here just deals 90 damage to you, so you don't want to get hit by that big one. But it just follows your position, so if you just wiggles back and forth, you're fine.
I also got to give a shout out to Matrix, because he actually helped me with the cave skip. So his method is singing the beat of "Another One Bites the Dust," like dun dun dun, and it's a great method, to be honest. I gotta thank him for that.
I'm gonna pat myself on the back because I came up with that one.
Oh, that's great! You did it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I used that as well because what I did, I just tested at what BPM entering and exiting I had success with the skip with the BPM calculator. And I ended up with 104. Then I looked song that was around 104, and Another One Bites the Dust was there. I went like, oh wow, that one works. That was a fun afternoon because I couldn't get the cave skip otherwise. I just couldn't.
So the grotto, this section is great. It has great music. It is fun platforming, and the gimmick for this area is that you have these switches, and you need to shoot them with your orbs of purity. Melee will not work. And that will deactivate the lasers in the way, which are one-hit kill. Oh, it's doing slot strats and cleanly as well.
Absolutely. Like first three. Oh, all four of them. Wow. Well done. That's solid.
Good job.
I still use Rat here, which is just a little bit slower. But yeah, doing that with Sloth is pretty good. Matt's showing some good things today.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Another difficult area here. So you're going to use a secret area with a chest here. Chest, or how you get, these beautiful items the players are dressing V with. And the problem with that chest is it's in a place where you don't get a save and skip a good area. So we see often players go through 3 saves without taking them in this area. So if you die, it's a big time loss.
No. I gotta say something about this area. No matter who you are, this will scare you in a speedrun. Even if you're at full health.
That's true. I agree.
Because you lose so much time if you die. But it takes a save before DA for marathon safety probably, or well, race safety. So now DA, probably the most consistent boss in the game, can give you undodgeables sometimes. It's pretty rare, but it can happen, so it shouldn't be a problem for Matrick since he has full HP going into the fight. But if you are going for a bit of a riskier strat and not taking saves before, going in with 50 health can be scary. So definitely understand why you took the save.
You can tank a mine to go faster and enter at 50 health, or you can use the bat in the previous area and use very strange tactics, but you enter the fight at 30 health, and now it's scary, because if he does one undodgeable, well, you use the wheel on the ground to 15, but it doesn't really help you at 30 health as much as it would in 50 or full health.
Yeah, the things you want to tank, if you have to tank something, is either the saw blade, these healing missiles that come out from the right side when he has enraged, or sometimes, but that's probably not gonna happen ever, is when he shoots the multiple lasers, because when they fade out, they will lower in damage. Getting Hawkeye achievement? Nice, getting no bombs on the floor. If you get bombs on the floor, they will carpet the ground in green, unextinguishable fire, so one is usually manageable, but it'll be quite difficult to handle the fight after that. But if you get two or bombs on the ground, it won't be a fun fight.
No, 2 means usually the area you're in is entirely covered in fire. You just reset at that point because...
That was an interesting way of doing it.
And now he's got 15 health. Thankfully there's nothing here that should be dealing damage. If his timing is right here, he's... can he save it? Yep, okay, he's fine. It's just that if you do not deactivate the laser before the card gets there, the card gets destroyed by the laser.
And it's pretty funny actually, because it's only in this area that it happens. In the area that comes after this, it won't happen.
Oh, he bonked!
That's a costly death.
Yeah, you have to come back. This is all about, what, 40 seconds I would say? Thereabouts.
It looks like Emimi won't be able to come back because blue screen.
No, his computer's dying.
I feel for him.
Yeah, he's had troubles earlier on in the week that I know of. But he didn't expect a blue screen of that, sadly. That's not something I think he has control.
Yeah.
And I'm something he's really not happy about it. Yeah, this time he gets through correctly. Let's see if he bonks his head again. I think he's going to take it safe and wait. Yeah, there we go.
Something about that part actually is you want to jump just high enough to barely scrape by the ceiling. You don't actually want to bonk, since it will make you go down faster. But that only really matters if you're going for the risky minecart where you drop off early to save some time. But if you go for a bit safer, it shouldn't be a problem.
As long as you just not straight up bonk and not get any height.
Okay, it looks like Emimi will not be continuing.
No, so it's going to be Matrick here with the default win.
Oh,
anyway, at this point, 10 minutes have to lose. So
yeah.
I don't think
this
that's
just
the kind of
reminds
thing
me
you
of my
can
race. Oh god.
So I guess we're going to commentate on how Matrick's doing. Yes, out of the grotto. These auto-scrollers here are, there's not much to say about them except that both of them are kind of a good chance of death, and dying there takes a lot of time, but they're pretty manageable. Terravine now. Terravine's pretty fun in that the fast way to kill this boss means you take damage. Just stay close to him and keep hurting him.
I would say it's similar to the second boss, Grigora, but it's just harder.
Yes. A lot harder.
Oh, he's using Lust. Nice. So what he's doing here is he's using Lust, which is the long-range weapon, to keep damaging him because the orbs has a recharge time. It can be kind of hard to do, but it does save time. So I gotta say, good job there for doing it.
He had to run left and right. Okay, he's fine. He's fine. Good kill.
I gotta say, Matrick actually told me to be harsh in his race before this, but I gotta say, there hasn't been a lot of big mistakes so far. There was one at the end of the underwater minecart, but honestly, that's mostly about it.
Yep, there was also Veil 2 when he sadly jumped on the saw blade, but other than that, yeah, he's having a pretty good run.
Let's see, this part can be quite annoying. Let's see.
Do you know what his exact PB is, by the way?
His PB is 4706.
4706, he's on pace.
Yeah.
I think if he has a good endgame, good PB here.
Oh yeah.
By the way, he messed up a little bit on the beginning of this area. That you want to keep sliding and dodge everything, but he still managed to save it by fighting the skeleton beautifully. The skeletons kind of aim at you, but if you jump at the right time, you'll be able to dodge them. So you can manipulate them. What is he trying? Okay, he's trying to spawn multiple convings to make the thing easier, but sadly it couldn't come back up quickly enough. Yeah, this is the last portal in the game. It's pretty difficult.
Yeah, there's a lot of enemies, and doing the fast strats for them is a lot harder than doing the fast strats for the previous portals.
Ooh, 5 health remaining.
Scary. The skeleton and the fire guy.
That dodge was so good.
Oh god.
He's got it. He's fine. Wow.
Good job.
If a rematch happened, I have no problem doing commentary. By the way, if that happens immediately, we just need to know what Magic thinks about it, and I don't know if he's reading chat right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go to bed, I guess we'll just do it another day, if Magic agrees to a rematch. Making his way through.
That's the only problem we've had so far in the tournament. That like, oh, he went for the fast right here. But yeah, like these unexpected errors that you don't have any control over whatsoever. There aren't any specific rules for them, so this is gonna depend on what Magic wants to do, and no one will blame him whatever he does.
Yeah, you've had a tough one where your save file got corrupted entering on the world.
I'm a president. That was nice, cleanly. Only 2 deaths in Underworld because one of those was a reset. So that was a good Underworld so far.
A little bit of a scary portal, but after that it was very clean. Entering Craterack. Another boss like DA that you can only damage with range attack. Although the way to deal a lot of damage to him is this rock attack right here. You have to send the rocks back at him. 1, 2, 3. Okay. The last ones were a little bit mean. They spawned very, very far behind him.
And 3's, I'd say 3's about average, and yeah, there's the double.
He's fine.
Yeah.
2's a bit sad. 1, you get into Uga Rocks territory.
So far he's on good health, this shouldn't be a problem for him. Oh.
He's still fine. You can take 2 more hits here on a 3rd phase. I don't think he's in any danger. Probably he's going to need only... Oh, 1 attack,
nice.
He gets rocks.
This is no problem.
1 and 2, and the boss is dead. Good kill. So Matrick here is having a PB pace run for everyone to see. I'm rooting for him. He's been practicing so much lately.
Oh yeah.
He's in pro. I mean, his PB when he started the tournament was around 110, something like that. Really, really slow. And now he's become a very solid player in this game.
Yeah, achieving around 1 hour in this game is... It's difficult because the game is difficult. But if you compare it to speedrunners, it's not too hard. But going below 50 minutes, now that's when it starts getting hard. So improving by that much is actually pretty crazy.
Yeah, especially in that short period of time. We've had a few players that had that kind of improvement. We've had Red Stone that improved a lot of dash rethrow.
Flash mids.
That's improved a lot of people. Flash mids as well. I think Flash mids could sub 40.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Bit of a mistake here on the top key.
It's so fun actually because usually, back when there wasn't too many people playing this game when I started, it was like the division between the top runners and then the newer runners. But it's so fun right now because there's like I haven't been competing with anyone recently, but now there's so many people that's up behind me and starting to sniff around about my time. So it's been really fun actually to play.
And you've been starting to sniff around sub 40 as well.
Oh yeah.
So you've got people on your back and you've got people to look up to. So it makes speedrunning so interesting. I mean, speedrunning is a lot a thing of a personal thing where you're trying to beat yourself, but having someone to compare yourself to race against makes it a lot more interesting in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, okay. I thought he jumped there, so I was really confused.
He killed the conving a little bit late, so I think he decided to fall down and play it safe.
Oh, that was...
No, he was a little bit slow. Yeah. Oh, he was not stuck. Wow,
no, you can actually jump out of that, I noticed. Today.
I never managed to do that, so he's gonna have to kill all 4 fire guys.
I gotta say, that was an interesting way of trying to one-cycle that room. Should you doing it with the orbs instead?
I've never seen it that way. I don't even know if that's possible or better.
I think it is, to be honest. Ooh, that was kind of close actually.
Let it get through. So that was a boss, by the way. That is Ancient Construct. Pretty cool boss, really fun to do casually. But we don't kill him in the speed runs. It's a shame because his boss music is my favorite in the game. But too bad. Okay, new skip here, the tournament skip. No reset before it by Matrick. He gets it first attempt, but let's see if the black holes are kind. Oh, he's gonna have to wait. That's why I would suggest resetting at the yellow save, because then the black holes are always at the same place. Library skip here. Kills the conving. Will he get the flutter dash?
Oh yeah.
Well done, very smooth. This is not easy, by the way.
No, this is hard, and I gotta say, I really like the new skip, because like, it's not just a free skip that saves you time, you actually gotta risk something for it. You can't take the save right after the skip, because then it won't like work in the end. And so, he went for it.
He went for it. He got it in the previous race, didn't he?
I think he did.
Yeah. That was pretty high.
I think he actually might have even discovered it.
Oh no, that has been known for years and years. It's pretty old.
It's really silly and hard and doesn't save a lot of time, but it's cool as hell.
It's the toughest 3-second save in the game. Making his way up the elevator. That's another section that I'm surprised how many players it's killed in the tournament. Yeah. So it's an auto-scroller, it's always the same.
Yeah, everything's the same since there's no RNG, there's just aimed stuff and static stuff. For example, the black holes, these bullets from the turrets, the only aimed things are actually the spike balls that he just passed. And then you have the skeletons, which are also aimed, so you can control everything in this place. But still, a lot of players have died here, and it's surprising. It's probably nerves for the tournament. Oh, that was risky.
Actually, I do it that way as well, because when you go to the right like that and jump, it allows you to manipulate the skeleton to go up a little bit higher. Oh, a little bit of a follow animation from Matrick with J2. Okay.
Getting a sneak peek of the final boss.
Then you can kill the skeleton a bit faster. Oh, we couldn't kill them before he got to the fog wall. I think it just deactivated his follow animation.
sneak peek there. Thanks for following, whoever you were.
Making his way to Miyuki 2. I don't know if you wanna... Oh, again, try to go a little bit quicker. The fog walls are a little bit particular. If there's no enemies on screen, it will disappear. However, if you kill an enemy, they don't immediately disappear. They have kind of an animation before they fully disappear, and you have to wait for the animation for the fog wall to disappear. So, you gotta save. I don't know if you want to talk about the M2 skip here.
Oh god, you do it. I'm so bad at it.
Okay, M2 skip. So basically, every 8 hit, Yugi falls on her butt. Okay, it's the second time we face her. She learned a lot of magic, and now she's dangerous. And we don't want her to use all of her magic. She has an enrage phase that is very long, and here Matrick accidentally healed the boss, and he's going to restart to get the skip. So you healed her 6 times. Because that will set up our HP perfectly for the skip that will happen a little bit later. Because what we want to do is when her health is at 40%, you want to have her fall on her butt at precise time during the precise attack, which will lead her to completely forget to enrage, and then you save 40 seconds. So here Matrick has a good setup for it, and we're going to see if he's going to be able to maintain it, because if you heal Mugi while her yellow bar is still up, her shield, it heals her, so you must not heal her on the way to the enrage. And here we are, 40 health, first hit, the rocks go out, and he gets it! Well done!
Now that is a hard skip.
Yeah, you have 4 frames to do it.
And the worst part is you have 4 frames, and that was after it was patched, so it had more frames. It used to have 1 frame, I think?
Yep. We don't exactly know if it was 1 or 2. We've never known. But it was a lot more precise, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was insane. And that's also one of those skips where you have a bit of risk involved as well, because if you miss it, you will actually have lost a bit of time since you decided to heal her a bit. So you got if you're going for the skip, you got to be sure that you're pretty comfortable doing it, because otherwise you're just gonna be wasting time.
That's true. Matrick here was probably very confident, because not only did he go for it, but he also reset it for it, which is an extra time loss. But I think all in all, he saved time then compared to the normally.
That was a clean room. He almost killed everything.
Yep. We've been talking about M2 skip being really hard, but now we're coming onto the real hard part.
The real hard part.
Can he do it? Can he do the thing? He can! The password has been done! First go. It's been kind of a curse.
Yeah, it's some runners been cursed in the first week, and then it's been kind of a joke. But there's supposed to be black holes there. But as a consequence of the dialogue skip, cutscene skip, at the start of this area, there isn't any black holes in there anymore, so you can just go past them.
Except there used to be a little bit of a dangerous skip that you had to do if you went fast enough, called the Ubi skip. I was notoriously bad at it. I'm glad it's no longer in the game.
And the funny part is, as well, that our world record holder K-Sauce was also bad at it, because he went too fast for the skip sometimes.
That's a problem. It's actually easy to go too fast there, and then you just slide on...
Yeah, slide into
a black hole. Or you wait for it, but you wait too long. Or then you flutter too high and hit the black hole.
Now I want to see what his strat uses for these skeletons.
It didn't change weapons. No, he's gonna kill him.
Yeah, he's gonna kill him. Maybe he's doing half pacifist? No, he's doing full pacifist. No, full
violence.
Full violence mode.
You can manipulate the skeletons to just wobble around you.
That was the Suicide Centaur. They jumped to your last grounded position, but the runner's last grounded position was a crumbling platform. So he decides to just jump up into the air and then fall down to the abyss.
That's a good thing, because centaurs have 35 health, and...
Oh yeah, they take a long time to kill.
Yep.
Now orcs. This is probably the second most fun fight in the game. And it has great music as well. So what Matrix's doing here is what the quick kill, where you, instead of standing on the platform, you just start flying off it and continuously damage them instead. We do this to avoid the enrage phase, because the enrage phase is just RNG and you can get one attack where you can't even damage them. Plus you can damage them all the time there if you do this. It is tricky and you need to spend some time learning it, but it does pay off in the end.
Metric has good health here. His health base is fine. Purple's down. He's going to finish red on the left side for safety. There we go.
No problem.
No problem. By the way, it looked easy. It's not. I think total it took me 6 to 7 hours to learn it.
Yeah, it takes a long time. And also, you gotta decide like when is it worth to learn it. Because learning it early is gonna just frustrate you, because it is really hard. If you flutter too low, you will get sucked down into the abyss, and if you flutter too high, you will get hit by the mace or the axe. So you gotta decide like when is it worth to go for it, because I don't want to spend, if you're a new runner, you don't want to spend around 20 hours learning this.
That's true. I mean, I still had a sub 45 without that, so...
Yeah. You can get pretty low without most of these skips, but if you want to go to the lowest times, you're gonna have to put some time in to get them.
Oh, he double jump, I think, accidentally.
Yeah.
He probably nicked the button while he was attacking.
Just sad, because that was a clean room. He flutters over that? I almost jumped there.
I do the flutter as well. It's preference. There's not one that's easier than the other. Frankly.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you actually got a task platform there at the last one. That's not the one you want, but it's still cool. Basically, crumbling platforms in this game, if you break them, if you re-jump from them, the first frame you land on them, they just don't fall. You can abuse that if you're really, really good.
Oh yeah.
Meaning cake, essentially, to be able to do some puzzles in this area a little bit faster in Path of Decay.
And just reuse the platforms instead of... Oh, it stole his jump.
This is the climb. It's a notorious area on
hard.
difficulty, especially on casual gameplays. Some players can stay stuck here for about 3 hours. You have to go up, kill the enemies, and you don't get a second chance at anything. If you fall, you fall. You're done.
Yeah. The only time you can actually save it is if you actually manage to land on a platform that's not at the bottom, because there's only one platform at the bottom.
40 health here, really no, sadly. If you get there at lower than 50 health, you have to manipulate the Kunlings and the worms to go around you so that they don't deal any damage to you. Anyone that's played Doom mode in this game knows that this room is extremely difficult on Doom. Doom is the mode where you only get one hit. If you get hit, it deals 100 damage immediately. A little bit of a struggle here on the climb by Metric. I think sadly that's going to be it for his speedy chance, probably.
Yeah. Because there's still maybe a third of the area left, I would say. Yeah, and the upcoming sections are not easy. They are very hard to do.
He gets through though.
Gets through. Took a bit of time, but it is a hard area, so you can't really blame anyone.
Well, it's kind of thing with Wings of V is that since the game is so difficult, failing something sometimes you just start questioning everything. You get stressed out, and
yeah,
you can end up getting stuck at some place for a long period of time, even though you know how to do it.
Yeah, Tilt is dangerous in this game.
Ooh, missed the... How do we even call these nowadays? I mean, pulsating hearts, puzzle balls.
Hearts, puzzle balls. I always call them tumors.
that's probably closer to what they actually are. Yep,
oh, did he
flutter this time?
Yeah, if you flutter, is it at the last frame of a like platform or something? It will just like steal all your, well, it won't even steal your momentum, it will increase it by a lot and just drag you down. So you won't be able to actually do anything if that happens.
Yeah, it usually happens with crumbling platforms, but yeah, that's true.
So not a demon form. This...
Oh, space meatball.
Yeah, space meatball, sorry. That's the official term. Demon form is what we use informally in the community. So the space meatball, it can be really annoying, especially if you're a controller player, because you need to maneuver this around, and it wiggles, and with the wiggling, the hitboxes change. So you need to be precise in what you're doing. Also, the gas you see that he picks up, that is just the gas for the meatball. You know, you need gas for the meatball. And without it, you will not have time to do the puzzles. But that was actually really fast.
That was Deathless Meatball.
Yeah, Deathless Meatball, that's really good. Because it's hard, especially the two last ones. They are not easy.
Going into the gauntlet here. It's gonna take a little bit of a wait here.
Oh, nice.
I guess 1.5 cycle because he had to wait for it to come back. Because it took some time. He didn't want to take 40 damage like we would do with the faster strat here. I guess that's why. He wants to tank the rock thrower for safety, and he gets onto Azrael. Want to talk about Azrael a little bit?
Yeah, she is, for everyone who isn't the two best runners in the game, no, but she's a very hard boss, and there's so many things going on. She has these red circles that you can see right now that will close in on you when you press your attack button. So you gotta maneuver around. Either you can do it with jumping and sliding, but that's a bit harder, so you can use your space meatball to activate it and then go in a direction and get out of it when you attack. She drops your platforms that you stand on, which you can then bring up via these spirits or floating heads. She will shoot the absolute weirdest pattern of these blue spikes or crystals or shards. They are probably impossible to read because you don't know where they will spawn or how they will fluctuate in their movement. So even though they might look slow, they are super weird to dodge. Oh,
the hand came back at the worst time. So he had a bad fight here because Azrael was pretty mean in how she plays how the souls spawned. And she, at some point, Matrick had 4 platforms down, and he was desperate for more real estate, I guess, and he took 2 hits trying to bring them back. And from there on, it just went bad. That's kind of what happened with Azrael, is that if you lose control, getting control back is extremely difficult. You have to maintain control for the entire fight.
You really don't want to let her take the pace, because things will get hairy really fast.
And the lower health, the more attack she has. She starts only with a 7-way attack and the blue curveballs. Then she has a portal with a hand. Then she has big portals with big hands, like we see to the left. And these grow in size if you don't take them out immediately. But often they spawn at a place where you just can't handle them. Oh, here it took 25 damage jumping into it. You can only take 1 more hit, and she still has 30% health left. Oh, by the way, if you hit her too fast, her shield turns to red and you cannot hit her for 8 seconds. So you need to pace your damage.
And the portals can have good spawn locations, like you see the one on the left here. If they spawn on the other side of the arena, you should just leave them, because most likely they won't ever grow that to the size that they will cover the entire map. But she also can only summon a certain number of portals, so the more you get on one side, the better, because then you can just ignore them and focus on the boss.
Yeah, Matrick here had the second portal spawn here was very dangerous for Matrick, but thankfully her health was low enough he could ignore it and just kill the boss. And now he's making his way to the last platforming area of the game, the Heart of the Baneful. Oh no, there was one more. I'm sorry, Matt. Gotta try again. It looked like he wasn't there, but he was like a little bit off screen to the left, and then he spawned back.
They are weird. Weird
They're
creatures.
mean. Very mean.
They can just teleport basically anywhere, and it's random. Sometimes they won't even teleport to where they showed that they're gonna teleport. So they are confusing.
Also, yeah, that's my favorite. Or their hitbox that deals damage. Ooh. The hitbox
Oh yeah, when
happens. No, the hitbox
they die.
happens before you can hit them. So sometimes
Yeah.
they're just going to spawn on top of you and just kill you.
And I don't know what that thing is about. Well, like when you kill them and their flaming debris flies all over you, and you suddenly take damage.
Yeah, their hitbox does not disappear immediately after that as well.
They are just the worst enemies.
Yeah, it really lingers on for a long period of time.
Oh,
Oh, a
clean.
fast shark tooth here by
One
man.
of the few in this tournament. It is an insanely risky strat, actually. It's hard to pull off, and it doesn't save too much. But it's clean. That's what matters in the end.
Yep. So we're going to see Lust here on J1. There's two ways of approaching this fight. Lust weapon or Envy. Envy is extremely risky. You just stay extremely close to the boss the entire time and you deal a lot of damage. It's about 5 seconds faster. Lust is what most players use.
Yeah.
3 spikes, two headshots. Not bad.
I mean, it's probably only like maybe 6 runners who use Envy.
I know Cake, Me, Shark, and Squall use Envy.
Yeah,
I
think
don't
Cake-
know.
Frozen
yeah,
does.
Frozen does. Yeah, that's
Yeah, there's so like some of the top 6 runners use it. It's really hard to do.
But by the way, the boss dies at 10% health, which is why
Yeah.
we didn't go for the spikes there, and that was a pretty quick Lust
Yeah,
fight,
that was a good
actually.
kill.
Can he still PB? What was his PB, you remember?
47?
7.
06, yeah.
No, that's not gonna be PB.
Unless he has a new strat. So we see some classic teetering that has become, for some reason, nobody really knows, the mascot for the tournament, I would say. People like standing on edges and watching their characters wobble around.
Alright, here is our good friend here, Jo Supreme Edition. So basically, you have a poison aura in this fight where you just keep getting damaged, and Fiora, the green fairy there, gives you health to replenish only that poison damage. It doesn't really replenish your health from the hits you take from Jo, so these stick on. And his attacks are pretty dangerous.
Nice, getting the good RNG here.
However, it didn't deal much damage because he got hit a couple times, so he went away to get a health power. I really understand here. I think it was the correct decision.
Yeah.
You want to kill the boss, you don't want to die.
Something that's actually pretty funny about this boss that we kind of seen in the tournament is, I don't want to say the bad runners because no one in this tournament is really bad. Like everyone's time is really this is yeah.
No, he gives up here.
But yeah, like the runners who play a safer J2 will actually be the only ones to flawless it in the tournament. But the best runners, they will never do it because they decide to face tank some of his attacks, which is insanely dangerous. Because
It's so fun.
yeah,
It's so fun.
it's a hard fight.
Yeah, well,
By far the hardest in the game.
yeah, well, face tanking lasers, especially after the enrage, is close to a 10 seconds time save. It's very
yeah.
important to do if you really want to go fast and get a sub 2-minute kill. But yeah, I mean, you need to practice. You just don't go, oh, I'm gonna tank that laser, because also tanking the laser so that it only hits you once when it goes twice is pretty precise.
Yeah,
We tried to go for the health and took 40 damage. I don't think that's a good trade. Gets a dive, however. I don't think, yeah, that's not going to be quick enrage.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to
I
survive
wonder if
another
he's gonna go
screen.
for the... I don't think he's gonna go for this other ice crystal. No.
Nope.
So we might see some weird stuff happening here.
That's gonna be low bubbles, I think.
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh,
Oh, he wiggles and bites.
nice. So if you don't enrage him on one of the ice traps, he will do some weird stuff if he doesn't give you... Oh, that was terrible. God damn it.
He floated a little bit too low. You have to be way under the platform.
So So the thing with enraging him, if he's not on an ice crystal, is that he will like drop down and do an attack instead of doing it where he's supposed to. So sometimes you will actually get undodgeable attacks if you get bad RNG combined with the enrage where you weren't supposed to.
The funny thing though is that he can give you good RNG.
Yeah, you can
and give you an attack that cannot hit you. Basically, he will use the blue balls, but he will use them inside of the platform, and then they just explode there and do nothing, which is pretty hilarious to see. And you can deal a lot of damage to him in that period of time because you just have to stand there and shoot balls at him. Because there's something we didn't see in this fight. Before the fight, you get a feather that strongly boosts your orbs of purity, and your range attack deals as much damage as your melee attack.
I think Canaris is the only runner who actually wants low balls, like even if it's bad RNG or not, because then you can the upside to the low balls is you can just stand and shoot straight forward and it will hit him in the eye, and he takes a lot more damage in the eye. I don't know, is it 23 or 21 damage?
That's around there. It's not precise because it's the ticking of the attack that deals the damage. So depending on where you hit or how he moves, actually, it's going to be a different amount of damage.
But then if you hit him on the like bone segments, it'll do like 3 or 7. It's not a lot. Yeah. Oh god,
he lives. Ooh, that was a good save. Can he get the kill now? He has to dodge this double ball attack. That's 1. That's 2.
Worm.
Gotta kill the worm. Worm's dead. Go get the health! No! He tried to deal a bit more damage there, but he really shouldn't have. He has to start again.
I think this is like such a common thing in this tournament. When he's low, people just tunnel vision on killing him without caring for anything. You see so many runners just walk up to his face with like no HP and then just start smacking it. Sometimes it works out and you get absolutely butt-clenching moments, but sometimes it doesn't because he can wiggle about and be annoying.
It takes a hit here, but manages to survive. That was pretty close as well.
Yeah. Oh.
Jump on him. Yeah, after his attack, sometimes he's just going... The way he's going to decide to go to his next attack is not easy to predict because it's kind of RNG. So sometimes he's just going to try and headbutt you, sometimes he's just going to go straight down. There's a few you can do... yeah, there's a few you can do on different positions. And you have to be ready for them. Oh, can't go to the boss because he's going to scream. So yeah, there's RNG.
Something that's worth talking about as well is actually when he does the scream attack, if you're not standing inside the bubble there, you will just die. But something that will help you is that when he does the scream attack, the orbs that Viola drops will actually slow down and they can last longer. Sometimes I've seen orbs fly under the platform because his scream attack, if it like didn't slow down, sometimes it would be just impossible to grab the orbs.
That has been a problem here. Or Magic keeps taking laser damage.
Yeah.
Getting to survive here, the ball attack. See. And gets under this. He gets the kill. Congratulations. GG to Matrick in the chat, thank you.
That was terrible.
That was a 50 people. Oh, he's already here. Whoa, well, hello. Hello, Matt.
Welcome.
That was an absolute... Okay, so I just want to say, so my splits going all the way into Path of Decay were really good. And then my cat, who was sleeping on the ledge above my computer, actually fell out of his bed, inside of his bed, knocking my monitor over. And my wife had to come over and rescue the cat from behind my monitor and all of the tires and everything. And it totally threw me off for the whole rest of the run. Like, I was just totally out of whack.
Yeah, the climb. I mean, I think you were really on good PvP pace until the climb.
That's when the cat fell. That was when the cat fell. So if you notice that, like, I actually stopped for a second because, like, I was like, oh my god, Ashley, you got to get over here and rescue the cat because there's nothing I could do.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, oh god, that J2 was pathetic. Oh well. It was a good pace. What happened to Emimi? Oh, he blue screened to
Blue
death?
screen of death, yeah.
Ow.
He completely crashed entering Veil too. He was ahead at the time, by the way. By a
That
little bit.
sucks. Well, my floating keep was hot garbage, so I'm not surprised. But yeah, from that point on, I just kind of started to roll and then never really looked back until I got to Path of Decay.
And then the cat fell down.
Yeah, that was actually the first time I've ever done a musicless chambers. Oh, speaking of musicless chambers, my follower alert was on.
Yeah.
And my
We
follower
saw that.
alert, I actually have my follower alert off most of the time. I actually just made that follower alert like 2 days ago. So I had it on just to like test it and forgot about it. So yes, in fact, I hear it and I was like, oh no, that's still on. I quickly clicked over and shut it off.
Yeah, it's a little bit mean to say that to you viewers. Like, you are nothing to me, but
Perfect.
I thought it was amazing. That was funny. Yeah, M2 skip, musicless chambers, solid arc kill, then pretty good Path of Decay until the climb, then deathless meatballs, and then Azrael happened. That one was a little bit harder.
Well, okay, that first Azrael fight was something else because I have never seen RNG like that. She got rid of every platform on the right half of the entire map. I'm going, where are the balls? I can't even get these things back.
Yeah.
Like I was forced to take a bunch of damage because I had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was unfortunate.
Yeah, I commented on that you just ran out of real estate and you had to take 40 damage out of nowhere, and then from there on. I mean, Azrael is a fight where if you lose control like that, coming back is just a nightmare. But second fight was also pretty scary at the end when she spawned the last portal to the right, but you just went like, oh no, you die. I'm
Yeah.
sitting there, I'm shooting you.
I'm counting damage. I'm like, she has 4 health. Let's go.
Also
Yeah,
good
like-
J1. Really good J1, that was solid.
It was
Yeah.
fast.
I actually was thinking of going for Envy in there, but I was like, I'm only a minute behind. Like, I can still finish strong here. I'm not going to do it. And then J2 happened.
Yeah, it was like, I think the only like big mistakes were the underwater minecart. And there was one in the keep that was not too costly, but still a bit, and then Veil 2 skip. And like, from there on out, it was a really clean run up until when the cat fell down, of course, but yeah.
I actually had some, like, in the floating keep, the first death was really odd because, like, I did my normal thing where I jump and I hold my attack button down and then I flutter, and I just didn't make it. And I was like, what happened? Then I went to go under it again, and I got eaten by the tooth. And I was like, oh, okay, no, let's stop this now.
Something's wrong.
Yeah.
You two ended up killing Peragora exactly at the same time.
Oh,
the
yeah.
swirlies after the fight were perfectly synced.
Awesome.
That was impressive.
And
I had a wonderfully scary Electram too. I don't know what was going on with that.
Oh,
I had
yeah.
3 jumps at the end with, like, I think I had 25 health or something, and he gave me triple jump. I just had to keep spiraling around him.
I think, because I assume you're gonna watch the playback video. When you enter the double turret with a conning room right before Pagora,
Mm-hmm.
it was, I dare to say, the exact same frame when you
Wow.
entered. So it was perfectly synced up, and it was really cool to watch.
I mean, I had to hit pixel jump there to come back.
Yeah, it was, good job.
And Mimi tried to, sadly he missed it. That's where you caught up, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a couple seconds saved. It's worth it. It's worth going for every time, especially because it really doesn't cost you any time. As long as you're on cycle, you can just easily get up like normal after that. So there's really no reason to ever not go for it.
Finally, someone who agrees with me. Thank you.
Yeah, I honestly, to me, it's like I go for a lot of dumb things. I go for jetty skip once. I went for fluttering under the platform in library once. I do that because if you hit it, it's a great time save. If you lose it, it's a few seconds or whatever. And jetty skip, it's a few seconds. Fluttering under the platform costs a little more.
But it's cool.
But, you know,
It's
yeah, right. And sometimes I just think it's better to go for fun things than it is to necessarily go for the fastest thing. I like doing swag. It's fun, especially when you hit it. It feels nice.
Yeah, even if you don't, like, just going for jet in a race kind of speaks about the runner.
Yeah,
in a positive way, I'd say. It's
I mean,
brave.
I'm not afraid to go for any of that kind of stuff. The only thing I don't go for is like fast bone snake, and I did it earlier today, but I've never practiced it. I've honestly never practiced it before. It's the first time I've ever gone for it, and I nailed it on the second try, and I was like, oh, it doesn't seem that hard, but what's going to happen is I'm going to be like, oh yeah, it's not that hard. Let's go into the race and fail it like 9 times in a row, because I was like, yeah, it's not that hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm bordering 37 minutes, BB, and I'm not doing it in runs. It is hard. It can go wrong in many different ways. Well, it's not very hard to do. It's the ways it can go wrong with you staying stuck in the wall, and sometimes your jump's not coming back. That can be a little bit of a pain.
But see, now Shark's proven that it's always worth, because you can, if you miss it and don't even touch the heart, you can double touch it.
No, that's not.
No.
Shark does the craziest things. That doesn't count. I do not agree with that. That doesn't count.
No,
Shark does
saves
insane things
that Cake couldn't save sometimes.
Yeah.
It was,
So
yeah,
weird.
it was crazy to watch. It was fun, but great run from you.
So now, okay, let's talk about what's going to be happening tomorrow with Wings of V. At 4 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have Flash Meets against our good friend here, Lude, who did commentary with me today. After that, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he's still our little friend, Ziggy. You got it right.
Say
the first
hello
time.
to my little friend. I don't know. I guess I saw that movie lately. Whatever. And then we're gonna have Kale Sand versus Redstone at 11 p.m. Eastern. That one's important because Kale is 2-2, and and Reds is 2-2 as well, I think.
Yeah.
And whoever wins this is going to make it to the bracket phase.
Depends.
And-
Average time.
Well, they have a chance. Average
They have
time.
a chance, yeah. Fraslo
I think it
against
means-
Canaris is the same thing. If Fraslo wins, he gets into the bracket. If he doesn't, he's going to not make it because he had a forfeit. So his average time is pretty low. Canaris is 2-2. If he loses to Fraslo, he's out of the tournament. But
Yeah.
if he wins, his average time is extremely good. So he's guaranteed to make it, even if it's 3-2. So these two games will be very important for how the bracket will look like coming forward.
And even though it shouldn't happen anything out of the ordinary, because both Kale and Canaries are very favored in going into the races. We've seen major upsets coming in, so anything can happen, really. So it's gonna be really interesting and really important to see how these matches turn out. At least the last two.
That's true. I don't know if you guys had something else to add before we end it today.
Nope, I'm good.
Yeah, I want to say thanks to Speed Gaming and for fixing this tournament for us and making it look real nice and work real smoothly. And also, if you want to, you can go follow the runners and the commentators. Follow Ziggy, he's one of the best runners of this game in the entire world. And you can follow both Emimi and Matrick, who are also really good runners, both of them. Even though Emimi doesn't really play V that much anymore. Oh yeah.
Follow Lude as well. He's a great guy. I love him. So thanks Speed Gaming, thanks to all the viewers, thanks to our players here, Matt and Emimi. Sadly, Emimi had a little bit of a hiccup with his computer, but we still like him. Have a good night, everyone. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Bye bye.
See ya.